Okay, if you open up to page 39 in your notes, we are going to go over how to use equations to solve some word problems. Now, the first word problem says, you're given this picture. So the length is x plus 7 and the width is x. If your perimeter is 34 inches, what is your length and your width? So there's two ways to approach this. One way is to use the perimeter formula. So I know the perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Now the length is x plus 7. So to multiply x plus 7 times 2, I need parentheses. And 2 times the width would be 2 times x. And the perimeter is 34. So here, I defined my unknowns, I used my unknowns, and I just plug it in. This is one way to solve it. Another way to solve it is to label all 4 sides of your rectangle and just add them together this way. I notice there's x, 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 so there's 4x plus 14, and that equals 34. Now notice, if I solve this one, I get 2x plus 14 plus 2x, and I eventually get 4x plus 14. So no matter which way you use, you get 4x plus 14 equals 34. We subtract 14 from both sides. 4x equals 20. Divide by 4, divide by 4. X equals 5. Now if x is 5, to get the length, I just substitute 5 for x, and I get 12. Okay? So, 2 different ways. Use the formula, plug in what you know, define your unknowns, or use the picture and just add all 4 sides. Okay? So that is number 1. Now, number 2 is very similar. It says the length of a rectangle is 3 more than twice the width. So the first thing I do is draw a rectangle. If the width is w, 3 more than twice the width would be 2w plus 3. And this would be 2w plus 3, and this would be w. This is one way to define your unknowns, because this is obviously the length and this is the width. It says the perimeter is 48. Okay? So that's one way to set it up. Another way to set it up is to define your length and define your width. So if my width is w, my length is 2w plus 3. This way, I can just add up all my w's. 2w plus w is 3w, 5w, 6w plus 6 equals 48. This way, I can use the perimeter formula. When I use the perimeter formula, I'm careful to always put my expression in parentheses. So this would be 48 equals 2 times 2w plus 3 plus 2w. 48 equals 4w plus 6 plus 2w. And I eventually get 6w plus 6. So no matter how you do it, you still end up with 6w plus 6. So I subtract 6. 6w equals 42. Divide by 6, divide by 6, w equals 7. Now, if w equals 7, if I put a 7 there, I do 2 times 7 plus 3 is 14 plus 3 is 17. Or I can say w equals 7 here and do 2 times 7 plus 3 is 17. I can label my answer there. So you can either do it formula and chart or picture. Okay? Now, if you missed class, you can try number 3 on your own and check Google Classroom. But let's turn to number 4. Now, number 4 says a bag of pretzels costs 35 cents less than a bag of potato chips. Okay, so I know that I have pretzels and potato chips. I'll just call it chips. If 3 bags of pretzels and 4 bags of potato chips cost $17.43, how much does a bag of pretzels and a bag of potato chips each cost? Okay, so for this, my unknown is the cost of pretzels and the cost of chips, right? So if one bag is 35 cents less than another, the pretzels cost less. So if chips is X, pretzels is X minus 35 cents. Okay? So if you don't understand that, think about this. If I tell you chips cost $1, but pretzels are 35 cents less, how would you figure out the cost of pretzels? You'd take $1 and subtract 35 cents, which would be 65 cents. So you subtracted 35 cents. So if I tell you chips are X, the pretzels are X minus 35. Now you buy 3 bags of pretzels. So if one bag is X minus 35 cents, 3 bags would be 3 times X minus 35. Remember, if it's an expression, you have to use parentheses. 4 bags of chips would just be 4 times X. And the total cost was $17.45. Okay, so this is 3X minus $1.05 plus 4X equals $17.45. Combine my like terms. And then I'm going to add 105 to both sides. And I get 7X equals $18.50. So now I have to divide $18.50 by 7. 7 goes in 2 times. And then I have 45. 7 goes in 6 times. And then I have 30. 7 goes in 4 times. And since it's money, I'm going to stop there. So the cost of X is $2.64. Now to get the cost of the pretzels, I have to subtract 45 cents. And I get $2.29. Okay? So it gets a little tricky with the decimals. Okay, so now let's look at number 5. And number 5 says, trumpet lessons cost $15 less than piano lessons. This month, my son had 5 piano lessons and 3 trumpet lessons. How much did they each cost if I spent a total of $365? So our unknown is the cost of trumpet lessons and the cost of piano lessons. I don't know what they cost, but I do know trumpet lessons are $15 less. So if I let piano be X, trumpet's going to be X minus 15. 5 piano lessons will cost 5X. 3 trumpet lessons, I have to do 3 times the cost of 1. Be careful to use my parentheses. And 5 piano and 3 trumpet cost a total of $365. So 5X plus 3X minus 45 equals 365. 8X minus 45 equals 365. 8X equals 410. X equals, and again I have to do my long division, 8 goes into 41 5 times. 8 goes into 10 once. 8 goes into 20 twice. And 8 goes into 45. So this is 5125. And if X is 5125, $15 less than that is 3625. Okay? So again, if you were absent, try number 6 on your own and you can check the answer on Google Classroom. But now I want to go over page 45. So turn to page 45. and that will be on a different video.